Governor Mike DeWine says that Ohio will get its first doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine on December 15th. What is your reaction to that news?
Well, it's good news. It's been a little bit faster than people expected. The federal government, starting with the president, has handled this so badly for the last year. We've simply not done, we haven't gotten the support out to local communities we should have. I'm pleased, though, with how the vaccine has come along. We've got to make sure it's distributed quickly and fairly, starting with healthcare workers to make sure that they're safe.
Ohio is seeing an unprecedented upswing in COVID-19 cases that's overwhelming our hospitals and our healthcare workers. What do you think needs to change or new action needs to be taken on the state level?
Well, I think Governor DeWine has been dealt a bad hand, basically, from the president. Back in, from the president would not recognize that this virus was real for months. He called it a hoax. He wouldn't. He didn't scale up testing. Didn't get protective equipment out to Toledo hospitals or hospitals anywhere around the country. In spite of the efforts of Congressman Capter and me and others, and really in both parties, but the president and Senator McConnell and the Republican leader in the Senate simply pretty much said to the public, you're on your own, and didn't get the help, the equipment, the scaling up testing, doing contact tracing, speeding up treatments, all the kinds of things that the federal government, that President Trump should have done.
Some lawmakers in the Ohio Statehouse want to impeach Governor DeWine because of his response to the COVID-19 pandemic. What do you think of their efforts? And do you think that, that the governor has handled it the way he should have?
Well, those are two different questions. What I think about the efforts were despicable. I mean, they thought that these same legislators that wanted to impeach the governor, those were the same legislators that didn't recognize this virus for what it was and what it is. And as a result, hundreds of thousands of people died around the country. Tens of thousands more died than would have died if they had handled this right. And they all follow what the president said. It's fake, it's Democrats, it's a hoax, it's fake news, all those things. And when the governor of their party decided that he'd be responsible in those first few months, they didn't like it. And so that's why they did what they did.
Ohio Democratic Party Chairman David Pepper announced that he's stepping down at the end of the year. What is your reaction to that news, and what is your response?
Well, it's a hard job, and I'm not surprised that David did. I mean, it's the time to step down when you've done it as long as you think you should. Is almost always after an election. You don't want to put the new chair in the place of picking up in the middle of an election season. So I think David handled that part well. I think the Democrats need to redouble our efforts in this state, especially in areas where we haven't done so well. We do well in metropolitan areas like Toledo and Cleveland. We don't do so well in smaller cities like Tiffin and Findlay and Mansfield and Lima.
I think that serves as a great transition to my next question, which was, are you disappointed with Democrats' performance in the state of Ohio?
Well, I'm disappointed that Trump carried Ohio, because I think he did damage to the state. He came in and promised more jobs. He promised better economy. He promised upgrade of infrastructure, especially broadband in places like Northwest Ohio, outside of Lucas County, especially, and in Appalachia and Southeast Ohio, and didn't deliver. The state is much worse off than it was when he took office. He handled the coronavirus so badly. In spite of that, he won the state. That was a huge disappointment to a lot of people. I know my state has a lot of Republicans in it, but I thought that people recognized the president's incompetence in dealing with the coronavirus, which cost thousands of lives.
You urged some of your Republican colleagues in the Senate to wear a mask. Why do you think that wearing a mask has become a political statement in the halls of government, including the Ohio Statehouse?
Well, I think the president, by his defiance about wearing masks, by his refusal to follow the science of masks, the science of social distancing, the science of all kinds of contact trace testing and contact tracing, the president essentially said that the president didn't believe in science anymore than in climate change science. And we know how real that is. And unfortunately, we've seen one political party in this state, in this country, follow the president off that cliff of rejection of science. Again, whether it's coronavirus or whether it's climate change. And we've paid plenty. I mean, because the president did not listen to the scientists, because the Republican leaders in Columbus did not listen, the legislators did not listen to the science. A lot more people were killed from this coronavirus, and probably more and more will die in the future because we still haven't done what we need to do to address this terrible pandemic.
Senator Sherrod Brown, thank you so much for your time.
Jaden, always, it's good. It's good. This is about our third or fourth interview, right?
Yes,
Over
that
time.
would be correct.